the ball. But this, I thought, was probably the most crucial play in the ball game. We still got plenty of time, and again, we have third down right there now. We got 4 yards to go, and again, this was a sore spot in our throwing all afternoon. You know, they really executed that lead option very, very well, and that was probably the biggest running play that they had in the ball game.
Well, that led to a field goal. Then you get the ball back now. You're still only down by 6, but this was the one that sealed it.
Well, you know, we thought about, you know, we had to go to a hurry offense. There wasn't any question. I thought we'd done an excellent job with it at the end of the first half, and then, of course, you know, Schimbeck made another great play on an erratic throw, and he really got off the ground to tip that ball, and you know, they were able to run the clock out down there. We tried to stop it as many times as we could, but we ultimately ran out of timeouts, and of course they ran the clock out.
I know you give Wyoming a lot of credit. What are you going to do this week? You don't have a long time to you've got to get ready for a good CSU team.
Well, you know, we'll get started on our film, and we'll go back and correct the things that we did poorly. And, you know, this football team, John's got an awful lot of pride, and they'll fight you. And they took the loss very, very hard, as we all did. And, of course, anytime we lose at home, we're very concerned about that because we take great pride in Falcons Stadium. But, you know, I know it might be a great learning experience for our young man. And I still say we are a very, very young football team. And, you know, we're going to come of age, and we'll go back and correct the things that we did poorly in the game. And you'll see a fine football team out there next Saturday against Colorado State.
You're saying a chance that it might even help the ball club to face the defeat?
Well, you know, we've only lost 1 out of the last 18 games, and you know, you're not going to win every Saturday. It's like my wife says, half football teams in America lost yesterday. But at the same time, you know, we again have a lot of pride, and I know our young men will work extremely hard this week because they were very, very hurt.
All right, Coach, we are going to take a break. We're going to come back with our weekly features on life at the Academy, meet a coach and a player up close and personal. We'll have that right after this. Is you put a few more pounds on and build up the strength some, Coach.
Well, boy, you can say that again, John, and I give Jack Braley all the credit in the world. And I would say, you know, in our football program, this is probably the most improved area and is responsible for the successes we've had as much as anything in the world. And the kids love Jack. Jack works the dickens out of them, and they really, really enjoy lifting. And, of course, they understand in order to compete at the level that we're playing football that, by goodness, you really got to commit yourself to a solid all-season program. And, of course, we lift weights right during the season, John.
Okay. We're going to meet Jack Braley and take a look at the Air Force Academy Strength and Conditioning Program. Here's Lee Douglas.
Well, pumping a little iron at the Academy the other day, it made me realize just how easy it is to forget about the basics, at least forget to think about them. But a good football team never forgets to do the basics. Over the years, we've come to associate Air Force football with plenty of touchdowns and winning football seasons. Those touchdowns and scores and winning football seasons wouldn't be possible if it didn't begin with some hard work in the brand new weight room here at the Academy. Jack Braley, the strength and conditioning coach at Air Force, is in charge of the new weight room, which is only 2 years old. Now, Jack's a former player at Nebraska, after that a coach, and he knows full well the importance of weights to any football program, especially at Air Force.
I don't know whether it's coincidental or not, but at the time we started winning again, why we had instituted our weight program, and thanks to Coach Hatfield, and both Coach Hatfield and Coach Deberry are real strong believers in weightlifting and believe in getting the players in there and getting the job done.
And as I mentioned earlier, a weight program may be more important at Air Force than anywhere else. The guys are obviously smaller than the average Division I football player, so they have to make up for it somehow.
If they're smaller, they've got to create more power some way, and you create power either through speed or more weight, and we have a hard time getting the weight, so we're trying to create as much strength as we can to create more speed.
Well, it all goes back, you know, to the work in the weight room that we did. When I was in high school, I lifted, but I never, you know, really did a lot of the power exercises, you know, under Coach Braley's supervision. You know, I did a lot of leg work, and that just put the weight on really fast.
I've put on about 40 pounds since my freshman year, and my weight gains have gone up a considerable amount. It's helped my quickness and overall strength.
Chad Hennings, of course, made some real amazing gains this year, and he right now has our the combined total record of 1,335 pounds, which indicates that he's pretty strong.
And for the record, Chad is also the biggest player on the roster, 6'5", 249 now, and he's the king of sack on that defensive line, and you can give a good deal of that credit to Jack Braley and his weight program. For Air Force Football 86, I'm Lee Douglas.
Okay, and Coach, now we're going to take a look and meet Charlie Weatherbie, your quarterback and fullback coach.
Oh, what a great job Charlie does. And, You know, he's brought so much into our offense and given us so many ideas. Of course, you know, he was up at Wyoming with the wishbone, but he and Leanne and his family have just been such a welcome addition to our staff.
All right, let's meet Charlie Weatherbie. The biggest question mark facing the Air Force Falcons going into the '86 season was who was going to replace Bart Weiss at quarterback and run the Falcons' wishbone attack. One man who's had to help answer that question is quarterback and fullback coach Charlie Weatherbie.
You know, I think it was a challenge for all of us, not just myself. And I feel like, of course, bringing in a young sophomore quarterback, it's tough, you know, because there's a lot of pressure put on his shoulders. But Troy Calhoun has done a great job accepting that and really hadn't felt the pressure, I don't think. He's got ice water in his veins. He really does.
Of course, if you're going to coach wishbone quarterbacks, it doesn't hurt to have run the bone a few times yourself.
Well, I ran the wishbone in college at Oklahoma State. I ran it for 2 years and was fairly successful in it. We went to the Fiesta Bowl in '76 and beat BYU in a Fiesta Bowl in '76, but, excuse me, not '76, '74. And so we ran the wishbone, and so I had a little bit of background in that.
Coach Weatherbie, who's now in his 3rd season with head coach Fish Deberry, believes the wishbone is the right offense for the Falcons, who may not be as big or as fast as a lot of their opponents, but they more than make up for it with intelligence and discipline.
I think it really helps to have smart, intelligent people that know what to do, and very disciplined people that don't jump off sides and don't get you in the situation of being 1st and 15 instead of 2nd and 5.
For Coach Weatherbie, wife Leanne, and young sons Lance and Jonas, life at the Air Force Academy has been very rewarding.
I think it's a great place to raise a family. My kids are around them all the time, and, you know, the clean-cut haircut, the military image, you know, they're working for the country, so to speak, you know, and that's just a wholesome atmosphere that I think is excellent for a family.
Charlie would someday like to be a head coach, but for the time being, he couldn't be happier working with young men who believe in themselves and the team concept.
The most rewarding thing coaching here is seeing the winning attitude of the players here, no matter who they play, no matter what Saturday it is, Notre Dame, Texas, BYU, whoever it may be. They believe they can beat anybody in the country any day.
All righty, Coach, and for our player profile, a young man that I think has really improved, has really helped your defense is Kevin Martin.
Oh, no question. And, you know, Kevin was such a valuable member of our special teams, sophomore and junior year last year, and he's just sort of waited around to get his chances, and he's had the, you know, the ability to play. There's no question about that. You know, had an unfortunate shoulder injury a year before last, but he's really come back strong off that, and is really giving our football team a good senior leadership right now, John.
Okay, here's Lee Douglas again with a look at number 85, Kevin Martin.
For number 85, outside linebacker Kevin Martin, the '86 season is a turning point. Much like safety Steve Sigler, who we talked to a few weeks ago, Kevin has always been a great athlete, a great special teams player, and a capable linebacker. Unfortunately, he was the backup to one of the Academy's greatest linebackers, Pat Malachowski. Well, Pat's finally gone. Now it's Kevin's turn.
I've waited my turn. I've enjoyed playing special teams because, in a way, you play just as much on special teams as you do the other offense or defense. But I've been looking forward to play just strictly defense. I was in the footsteps of Pat Malachowski, so I had a great teacher as far as, you know, getting ready for defense and everything like that. But, yeah, I'm really anxious to do a lot this year.
Now, don't think Kevin Martin didn't do a lot before. He certainly didn't go unheard of over the years. In addition to numerous tackles on special teams, he's come to be known as the premier kick blocker in the WAC, with 3 blocks last season, 2 punts and this field goal.
We work on kick game very hard here at the Air Force Academy, and if you work on something long enough, things start to pay off. I think the one that stood out the most was the Rice one, because it was the first one, and Coach Grove and I were working really hard on trying to get that down, how to position your body and everything like that. And getting the very first one, that kind of sticks in your mind the most. I'm still rushing on punts and PATs, and I got lucky that I didn't get too hurt in the Hawaii game, but I put a little pressure on there, and I almost got one there, but instead I landed on my head.
Unfortunately, we can laugh about it now, but thank goodness Kevin wasn't hurt very seriously against Hawaii, because he's already played a key role in the '86 season. After 2 games, Kevin ranked 9th on the team with 7 tackles, and of course came up with this key interception, killing a rally in the UTEP game.
This was my first one, and I don't know who was more shocked, him or me, but you know, good things happen, and got some good blocking from Spiewak, and so yeah, hopefully, you know, our defense can get a lot of turnovers this year.
Kevin's a 6'3", 207-pound senior from Mullen High School in Denver. And unlike a lot of the guys on the team, he was recruited fairly heavily by some other Division I schools. So I asked him why he decided on Air Force.
Well, it was pretty close to home. My grandma could come up and see me on the weekends. We're a close family. So driving 50 miles a week to see me play football still, that was one indication. And, you know, being in Colorado, you live and grow up with Air Force Academy, and that was one of the other reasons why I chose. I had other schools